My name is George Navarro. I'm a professional boxer, a record of 3-0, and I was born in Huntington Park, California. Growing up in LA, my parents always moved around to different cities like Southgate, Inglewood, Fox, South Central, and like what I remember, before boxing, we used to, go to church on weekends, go out to Universal Studios, movies, Six Flags, Disneyland, and going out to eat different places like Redondo Beach, San Pedro, and many more places, or having family, get-togethers, or like if we wanted to go somewhere to have fun, like my mom, just like she wanted to go to Vegas, she used to pack our stuff and just take off that same night, stay out there for like a week or two, and then that was about it, having fun.
My name is Patricia Hernandez. I'm George Navarro's mom. I think that to me, George was a fighter, a warrior before he was born, because he was fighting for his life in many ways. So when he born at 6 months. He weighed 1 pound. He was like really tiny, like a bottle of water, and he stayed in the hospital like for three months. So he was only being fed with breast milk by a tube because it was hard for him given a bottle or anything. So it was like a miracle for me.
My name is Patricia Navarro. I'm Georgie's older sister. We didn't really know that we were having a baby brother, and my mom told us about George, that we were gonna have to go pick him up and stuff from the hospital. And one of my mom's older sister, Sagrario, she took us in her van with my older brothers and stuff, and we were on our way to go get Georgie, and we wouldn't stay still in the car while we were waiting for my mom to come down with George, and they lied to us saying that they were going to give our baby up and give him away to someone else because we wouldn't stay still. So we started crying, and we saw this lady come out with a baby, and we thought that was our baby, so we started crying, and we were screaming, and we were yelling at her to give us back our baby because Georgie was ours.
So George been always a fighter, because when I take him home from the incubator to the house, he only lasts like a week with me, and then 3 weeks in the hospital. That lasted like for a year. So for me, he was a fighter because he was fighting always for his life and for many things that he wanted to live.
Growing up, as a kid, what got me into boxing, my parents, they used to like watching boxing fights. My dad used to watch Oscar De La Hoya fights. All my uncles, they used to bet money. And as a kid, I started watching that, and I started liking the sport. And they used to make us box in the backyard, my uncles, cousins. And I don't know, they used to just bet sometimes. I bet my son could kick your son's ass, and that's how it was. Or they used to bring the neighbors' kids too, just in case, we need to get some more rounds in. And yeah, that's how it was, and that's how I started getting into boxing.
Well, I think that George started liking boxing when he was like 4 or 5 more, because his dad was a big fan of Oscar De La Hoya, and I was a fan of Julio Cesar Chavez. So then a couple of years later, my son, Jose Navarro Jr., started joining boxing and the Azteca boxing in the city of Bell Gardens. And George used to go with them and see them training. Then a couple of months later, my second son, Oscar, started joining too. So I think he started liking it more. So I think pretty much that's where George started getting more fan and believing that he's one of them in this boxing area.
Some of my fighters, growing up, what got me into boxing was Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Royce Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins, Julio Cesar Chavez, Marquez, Manny Pacquiao, and fighters, you know, like growing up. One of my first boxing fights that I was watching was that really got me into boxing was Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather. That was one of them that, you know, I really wanted to box growing up. And then I watched my cousins and brothers box, and that's what made me want to box even more.
He used to put a lot of socks on his little hands, pretending I think there were gloves, punching the pillows, punching the couches, or trying to punch the bigger brother or the sister maybe.
Growing up with Georgie was very interesting. There was a lot of sides to him, but mainly he was very quiet. He was always quiet. He was just always playing with like little toys. And he was just basically in his own like little world, doing his own little thing. But then at times when my other younger brother would come along, he was the loud one. He was the one making noise or bugging George. And then George would start making noise and stuff. But mainly he was quiet. What I do remember a lot about George, seeing George grow up, was that him and my other baby brother, Richard, they used to like build guns out of paper or sticks. And they used to play cops and robbers, where they would pretend that they were at war. And they'd just like throw themselves on the floor and start crawling on the grass and like throwing rocks over as grenades. And they had like their little teams and stuff with the other kids. And it was quite funny seeing them, how far their imagination like would go.
I started boxing at the age of 8 years old. First, I remember boxing was my cousin Abraham O'Many used to go to the boxing gym, and I remember asking him, "Hey, can I go with you to the boxing gym?" And he had told me no, and like I was kind of sad, so I just started playing Call of Duty. And then the next day comes, and I asked him again, "Hey, bro, can I go with you to the boxing gym?" And he told me, "Yeah, you could, but you gotta help me clean first." And I was just like, "Yeah, for sure." And I helped him clean the house, and then like I thought we were gonna drive to the boxing gym, and like he made me run like 3 miles to the gym. That was my first time going to the boxing gym.
When Georgie was like the age of 7 to 8, we started to separate it, me and his dad. So we decided to get divorced, and I think that affected to my son a lot. So he started like acting like weird, always anger, doing stuff that he never done before, until we take them to the therapist, and they recommended me to take them to join sports, to see what he was going to be doing it. So I decided like to enroll him in the UTV boxing gym in Apple Valley, and I think that he liked it, and I started seeing him like changing a lot and being more happy, talking about future things that he wanted to make in his life. So that made me feel like that he was doing better.
My parents were never getting divorced. Like I don't remember how old I was. Probably like 6, 7. It's probably, I think I was around the age that they divorced. Like I don't really know too much like why they divorced, because at that young age I wasn't really understanding. All I care about was just playing outside with my cousins or playing video games with my brothers around that time. And and as I started getting older, the divorce, I guess, started affecting me. I started getting anger issues. Always fighting in school, elementary. I don't know, fighting with my brothers, and I guess. And then, I don't know, I just wanted to join boxing, and then I guess I fell in love with the sport because I had so much anger in me, and I was always taking it out on the bags or sparring with kids. I always wanted to punch something. That's something that, I don't know, that just stuck to me, and I fell in love with the sport even more.
So when Georgie was about 8 years old, our parents decided to split up and get a divorce. So I can imagine that he must have been very confused with the idea that my parents weren't going to be together anymore. And as I was older than him, I felt confused. I was kind of upset. I was wondering if maybe I did something bad or I didn't do a chore that probably caused my parents to split up. So I could just imagine how he was feeling. Mainly, he stopped being as quiet. He dealt with it in a way where his being confused caused him to like start getting angry, and he'd just start fighting with other kids and stuff. Mainly just fighting with my other younger brother. So the divorce was just as hard on him as it was on us that we were older, except that for him, maybe his world was just turned upside down just as much as ours, despite being very young.
Yeah, one of the things that affected me growing up, like in the boxing industry, that in my amateur days, I had to stop boxing. My grandmother passed away, and my mother, I guess that affected her a lot in her life. And like we started struggling, like sometimes, we didn't have food to eat, or we didn't have money, so she could take me to the boxing gym or gas money. Or like, sometimes it was hard, and then I wasn't able to continue my boxing career and I had to stop for a bit.
When my parents passed away, that's when I lost my apartment. I lost my job. I lost pretty much like everything. So I got to move from Rialto to Apple Valley to take care of my dad. So that's when we were staying with one of my sisters because my dad were living with her. And when he passed away, like we don't have like a place like to go. So I had like no job, no nothing, no money, no income. So I went to my niece's house and asked her for help. So she told me yes. So we stayed with her like for probably like 4 months, 4 or 5 months. So I found a job down the hill. So it was like pretty hard to me, like go up and down the hill. So I used to leave my kids with her, and I used to sleep over with one of my friends' house to save money and more for my children. So then we couldn't stay there for more. So I asked my friend if we couldn't stay with him, so he said yes. So we moved out there like for probably like 9 months or 10. So my daughter was in school and working too, and my sons were in school. My son Richard, he was in high school with George, so they used to help me like a little bit of everything. So it was a really hard situation because sometimes we didn't have like no food, no nothing. So sometimes I didn't have like no money at all like to buy food like for all of us. So I used to have like $5 and buy them like dollar burgers for them, so to feed them. And I remember my son Richard asked me, "Mom, did you eat?" "Oh yes, I'm full already." So I bought the food for my kids, but I was starving myself because I wanted them to be fed. I didn't even care about me. So then my friend found out, so he started helping me with money, giving me stuff for my children's. I didn't tell none of my family because when I moved out, I asked for help to my sister, but she denied the help. I gotta find a way like to support my kids. Start looking for jobs till I find one that it was 12 hours a day for 7 days.
Our mom had to work a lot. Sometimes she had like up to 2 to 3 jobs. And the best way I could help, since I was the oldest one, I'd have to like help them do their homework, get them cleaned up. I'd have to cook and feed them. And aside from helping them do their homework, especially with George, because he wasn't that much of a fan of school, he'd sometimes tell me, the teacher didn't give me homework. So I'd be like, oh, okay, are you sure? He's like, yeah. So I'd like obviously at some point catch him lying, and I'd find like work and stuff, and I was like, okay, if you're lying, tomorrow I'm gonna go to school and talk to your teacher for mom, and I'm gonna tell mom, and you're gonna get in trouble, and you're probably gonna get spanked, which was like the end of the world for George because he has never really gotten spanked by my mom. So he would come clean. In a way, I guess, as being his older sister, I made a promise that I would always take care of him and my other younger brother, that I wouldn't really let them see like the ugly side to my parents' divorce. As much I would try my hardest. And it was really hard because they were always fighting. Sometimes they would fight a lot, that to a point where I would just like try to see how their day was and try to distract them from the things that were like happening around us. Even like with some of our friends or like cousins and stuff, I didn't really like anybody being mean to them or trying to pick on them because we didn't have our parents together anymore. So in that sense, sometimes they would try to make us feel bad. Like, oh, you guys don't have your parents together anymore, and we do. So I would have to tell like Georgie and Richie that we were just as special as they were, because even though they weren't together, they were still our parents and they loved us in their own way. Despite that, like, they wouldn't get along. And I know that had to do with like making him angry and confused, and it was just like very hard on him just as much as us. Trying to like hide those things from them and trying to make things more happy than sad was really hard. I remember that I would have to like try to play, and if I had to like crawl and throw myself and build guns out of like paper or throw rocks around, like I do that just to like make them happy. Or if I had to tell them a story and make something up about how like where rain comes from and how Jesus had a little role in that. I just like try to make everything as happy for them as her older sister, since I had promised them that I would always take care of them and never let anything bad happen to them.
Struggling at a young age, being a supportive son to my mom, she only had money, to feed us. Like, she only had sometimes like about $5 in her pocket, and like, McDonald's used to come through with those McChickens, dollar meat chickens, spicy chickens, and like sometimes, we used to eat like only one burger, and like, my mom used to ask us if we were still hungry, and sometimes we used to tell her no, that we were full, so she wouldn't feel bad, and so she could eat, because sometimes people would notice, she was hungry, and like she used to lie to us that she ate already, but she wouldn't, so like I started catching up to that, and we used to tell her, no, we're full, we ate at school. Or sometimes, when we used to go to school, we used to save, our lunch, like apples and stuff like that, take them home. Or like, the little juices they used to give us, we used to like put them in our backpacks, or like, maybe used to put her in our backpacks and like bring them home. And like, we used to drink out of those, or, sometimes when my mom, didn't have food to eat, sometimes like I'll hang around with my friends and I used to go to their house And like, I used to eat sometimes from their house and stuff, or like they used to give us like water bottles, like when we were thirsty, like we used to play like outside and stuff. So like I used to take those like with my mom, I drink out of theirs sometimes. I'll give her water from those. And that was one of the toughest times.
I think my daughter started seeing things, so she decided to work too and helping me. But I didn't want her to work because I wanted her to finish school, to do something in her life. I didn't want it to ruin her life because I don't want him to pass what I've been in many things.
We came down to LA, I had met Yuka through Instagram, and then he had offered me a place to stay because he had talked to some guys, Kyle Gomez, his father, and they gave me a place to stay too, so I would pursue my boxing dreams.
My son George keep on his boxing, so I didn't want him to see all the struggles that I was in. So I told him to keep on pushing and pushing. So one day he came and he told me that this coach, his name Juka, find him a place for him to stay. So that's all I know from that part. So he pretty much didn't see what we were struggling, bouncing to one house and another, till we ended in a shop with no light, no rooms, no nothing. It was trashy. Actually, no bathroom in it. We couldn't see the mice all over the place, sleeping on the floor with only 2 blankets.
My mother let me stay with these boxers, we were staying at it wasn't the best idea, I didn't really want to stay there, but, sometimes, I had to do a couple things, sacrifices, to pursue my dream as a professional boxer, there was times, I used to miss my mom, or I used to because I don't like crying in front of people, or anything I feel that shows weakness. Sometimes I used to just chill, lay down, just think, what is my mom doing? Is she eating, or is my sister eating, or are they okay? Or I don't know, I didn't want nothing bad to happen to them. Every day, I used to wake up just thinking about them, and so sometimes I didn't have money in my pocket, so I used to go on the street of Vernon, and I used to just stand there and clean windows by myself, and some couple other friends, and I used to get money in my pocket and just save it up. So when I was seeing my mom, sometimes, I'll give her money, and then it was tough, and then once I had went to my father's house, I asked him if I could stay with him, and he told me yes, and then the next day I woke up and I started hearing argument with him and his wife, and fortunately he had told me I couldn't stay there no more because his wife didn't want me there, and it was hard, I was pissed off, I was sad. I didn't cry, I was just sad. I was like, damn, could someone do that to their son and close the doors, So I left back where I was staying at. And I didn't really want to stay there. So I got a job as a security guard. I was training, sometimes I'll get out at 12 or 4 in the morning. I was tired, but I used to wake up and still go run and train every day. That was my routine for almost 2 years. Being in property, as my boxing career, turning pro, it was hard for me, sometimes, it wasn't these coaches didn't believe in me, I used to train my ass off, and just, I didn't have the money to pay them, so they could train me, and because, for them, that's a job, that's what they eat off, but, I didn't have the money to pay them, sometimes I just hit the bags by myself, or, because sometimes they didn't want to mess with me, because I didn't have the money to pay them. So that was pretty hard, I think my first, to third pro fight, sometimes, I would train by myself because I didn't have a coach. It was pretty tough, sometimes. I never told anybody about that, but it was pretty hard. The reason why I'm going to fight, to become a champion, is to, put my family, in a better situation, where they don't gotta worry about paying rent or not having food, in the fridge. My also, you know, want to make it too. Also, you know, because I want to make a homeless shelter, you know, for people that don't have, for kids and moms that don't have a place to eat or sleep. You know, I want to help those that need it, you know, because I know how it feels not to have food in your system or to not have money in your pocket, you know, or sometimes you're passing by a liquor store, you see chips, you see something, you know, you want to buy it, but you don't have the money. You know, it's hard and it's tough, and sometimes.
Before he was born, he didn't really have good chances. I feel like the odds were against him. They were trying to scare my mom off into like terminating the pregnancy. And to that, I think he's a rainbow baby. He's a miracle baby. And he has fought his way through life, even like before he started boxing. In that sense, I feel like my brother's a warrior. He's a champion already because, I mean, what if she would have decided to terminate the pregnancy? He wouldn't be here now doing the things that he's doing and the plans that he has for his future and our future. And I feel like the fact that we've been through so much and struggled and have stayed homeless and have had limited food, I feel like that has motivated him. It's made him even more hungrier to like get to where he wants to be. So I know that other fighters are special, but I feel like my brother's more special in the sense that he fought his way to like live, and he's fighting now despite that doors may close on him and people may backstab him or betray his trust and trying to take advantage of him because he sees the best in people. But despite all the negative stuff that can come his way and all the obstacles, I feel like he has fought his way and met good people, and along with those good people, they're gonna help him to become better and become a greater person in the career field that he chose to become a professional boxer. So I know that my brother's gonna make it because he's hungry and he's passionate, and he has passion for what he does and he loves it. So that alone and determination is gonna get him where he wants to be because he has big plans, and I know those plans are not gonna go to waste.
You know, message to my family, my mom, sister, brothers. I love you guys, you know, thank you for all the support you guys have been with me, you know, my up and downs, you know, like a roller coaster, you know, we hit rock bottom, you know, and now it's time to hit sky high, fight to the top, you know, with this fight, it's gonna open, you know, big doors, winning this fight, January 27th, we're getting the dub.
Till now, he's fighting for what he wants. And I know he's gonna get there one day.